I'm Riley Harvey for VCN, and this is the Thursday night PRT handicap race. Hope everybody out there in RGT land has remembered to get their updates done. If you're watching this and you're not racing tonight, then fair warning, there has been an update to the app. It's not a particularly long download time, but you will need a little bit of time to get that update done if you are looking to ride in the near future. So don't just jump on the bike and think, bang, I'm going to be into this race. It will take you a couple of minutes to get the update done. Some changes, some revisions to the app. I don't think there's anything groundbreaking in this one, but there are a few improvements, let's say. One of them that I've been looking forward to is that we shouldn't now see on the screen during the race whether the rider that we're watching has turned on or off the auto avoidance. So you should only see that for, well, you should only see that yourself. It shouldn't be coming up on the screen. We used to see it for every rider that we were following, and we'd get the notification that they'd steered a little bit, or they hadn't steered a bit. So hopefully we're not going to see that, and we should be all smooth than that. Oh, it's a little bit of a problem that was cured as well, where in the top right hand corner it didn't always line up with the red or green as to where the rider actually was. So that seems to have been resolved, and hopefully we'll see that as well tonight as we're going through the race. We've got Kurt Lang in. He started with us last week. You can see Kurt Lang in the riders list there on the left hand side. Dropped out very quickly, and hopefully Kurt will make it to the end of the race tonight. We've got 10 seconds to go. First part of this course is a fairly steady drag with some short power climbs within it. Darren Ray there, flying off the front. Kurt Lang not too far behind. Then we've Marchi, Holtan, Krajowski, GA, Underpike, Locke, Kimber. Lang just drifting back a little bit. Bursars and Grimtana. If you're out there in the virtual world watching this, then we are on social media. You can catch up with us and chat with us through chat window. Wherever you message, if it's on Twitch or Twitter, then they'll all come through to us at VCN HQ. Back with Marchie in fourth position here. Underpike there, just following Darren Ray there, not too far up in the distance. Jarski in the Ratio Racing colours there. We're into one of these little power climbs now. 6.6%. Margie standing on the pedals. Getting up to the top of this climb, chasing Darren Ray. And we've got Kimber coming through like a rocket on this climb. Alton there too. Darren Ray steering across the side of the road as Kimber goes through. Obviously Woolcut didn't get off the start grid there. Was noted it's been updated, but one of the problems for spectate mode is that we used to be able to move a rider at a time, and it seems to be jumping two riders at the moment. So That's why I just flew to the back of the grid there, because I was trying to just move one rider and it flew 2. So we've got a group of around about 11 here forming the front of the field. Kurt Lang at the back of this group, but just battling on here. I think they're going to all come together. Just drop back, a little bit of a check-in with some of the other riders. Nielsen here, front of the chase group. I just see Benson there, and that's Dan Benson, one of the PRT riders. Mario Shani there, a little bit further back in the grid than we'd usually expect to see him. Perhaps just got caught off guard with the start of this race. Expecting to make steady progress through these back markers of bots. The front of the race. Auto steering was adjusted for the bots as well. The manual steering mode being brought in probably a few months ago now. Actually, time goes by so quickly. And the bots, really, they sort of pretty much stopped steering around and doing anything. They've brought a little bit more life back to the bots, and I think as well they've brought a little bit more life back to the riders who don't use the auto steer feature, so they move a little bit more than they did previously. As Kolik goes past there, but the auto steer feature is a strong benefit. The manual steering feature is a strong benefit to the rider. Can shave off many meters going tightly around the corners. Just drifting a little bit further back here. We've got Eaton, one rider in front there. So the back of that group, as I say, hard to hit the particular riders at the moment with this slight error in the rider maneuvering. And then with Silvestri, back to my bot at the start line, not moving off. And we have Gillings, who's just a little bit further back there, but we can't get Gillings at the moment. So jumping back up to the front here, we've got Quiet on the front of the race. Van der Pike, Marchi and Kimber all in this front group, with Krajowski as well. And then with a little bit of a separation back to the following riders. Which is Bassas, who's following, and Darren Ray, Grimtana and Holton. Krajowski pushes on the front there in this flatter section. We've got 20.6 kilometers remaining of this race. Archie, Quiet and Van der Pike there. Kimber just coming across from that chase group. Getting the wheel of Van der Pijk. Slingshotting around to those front three riders. Van der Pijk noticing there was a gap just opening there, has closed it down. So now we're just looking like we've got true separation here of the front two groups. We've got Darren Ray, Grimtana and Holton with Bossar there in the chase group. Gap of 38-40 meters. Darren Ray on the front of that, really trying hard to pull back in those riders. On the flatlands now, doesn't matter how much of a handicap you're really carrying here. Raw power will win out on the flat. So for those who are regular watchers, I'm sorry if I'm boring you. The handicap race is based upon the principle of kind of bringing equal competition to all. If you're a strong rider, then you get handicapped, you get given more weight to carry. And if you're a slightly weaker rider, then you get given a benefit of being made lighter. Benefits the riders going up the hills, and that's why there's generally some significant climbs in the handicap races. And it means that most of the riders will finish within about 10 minutes of each other. And it also means that the fitter riders, the stronger riders, they get more of a workout because they have to work harder to distance themselves from the riders that aren't carrying as much weight. Group just come back together again now. Darren Ray jumping onto the back. The Grimtana distance is 23 meters. And a little bit of a ceasefire at the front as Kimber's back to the group. And then Krajewski looking to light it back up again, going over this final lump before hitting some more of the flat area and then into the descent. So Grimtana is looking like he's going to get back onto this group. Darren Ray just was looking like he was going to catch, and he's been distanced once again. Let's keep pushing on at the front. You can see there that there's an ear symbol at the end of Krajewski's tag, and that shows that he's using the in-race radio. You can chat away on the game using the in-race radio at the moment. You can have open channels, or you can use private channels if you just wanted to have a team talk discussing team tactics. Ratio Racing do pop-up races most Fridays. I think they're at 6:30, and they are a great team at using team tactics. They've really ripped apart races before now by using that classic 1-2 attack. And when you see a number of those turn up in a race, a number of those Ratio Racing jerseys, you've got to watch out for them. You can see underneath the riders' names, we've got the name tags on the screen just above their heads, and underneath those names we've got the power bar. That shows what zone they're in and how close to moving into the next zone. So the fuller it is, the nearer they are to moving on to the next zone. They're based on Coggins training zones, and you can see on the screen there the different relationships between those colors and the power that their riders are putting out, and roughly how long they're expected to be able to hold that power. As you see Krajewski now, a real big pushing on the front of the race in his red power zone there, and he's expending energy trying to break free at the front of the race. Just drift back, we can see Kimber there. Actually no drafting advantage for these riders. There we go, drafting benefit now. In the top left hand corner you can see in the green writing across the power grid that the rider there is saving. We're with GA, and you can see that GA there briefly was saving 220 watts. The riders are just flicking all over the road trying to break the draft there, and GA here has been caught over on the left hand side of the road. They're really having to dig deep here and push. All the other riders gone over to the right hand side. I don't know, it looks like GA's got steering because they're over on the left hand side of the road here, but I think it's looking like they're going to be dropped. They've not pushed over, and a gap of 20 meters opened up. They're going deep into the red here, trying to hold that gap. See the riders in front flicking from left to right, staying on each other's wheel. They're saving energy with that drafting there. Yeah, 28 meters back now from the last rider in that front group, and once again they shift over to the other side of the road. Yeah, not steering there. There's a number of ways to steer within the game. You can steer using touchscreen phone or tablet. You can just touch the tablet either side, and some people find that's a little bit messy because once you've got a bit of sweat on the screen it can be a little bit hard to get those inputs recognized. You can use A and D on your keyboard, which again can be a little bit difficult for people because keyboards often aren't in reach. But what a lot of people have done, and what a number of people have done, is they've invested in these little small media keypads which have got maybe 2 or 3 buttons on, and you can program those buttons to hit those relevant A and D keys for you. And you can quite often, if there's a 3 button, you can get it programmed so it'll use look behind or another useful feature. See GA here, and now 150 meter gaps opened up from this lead group. I very much doubt they're going to manage to get back on. But the lead group there, Krajewski, Brentana, a little bit of separation again between Kimber and Marchi, and Van der Pike at the front of the race there. Brentana leaning slightly against Krajewski there, pushing Krajewski over, opening a little bit of space. So there are those options with the steering, and then there's also tilt steer. Wahoo do a device that they call the steer, and basically you put your mobile phone in it, but you use the gyroscope within your phone to steer, and pressing the paddles either side near to the gear changes that extend from this tilt platform will rock the phone slightly and allow you to use the steering. It doesn't have to be a phone, it can be anything with an accelerometer in it, so phone or tablet basically. But if you can download and use the Wahoo remote app on it, you can use that steer feature, rock your phone to get the steering. We've got now 12.8 kilometers remaining. We're nearly at the halfway mark in the race. Again, we're riding with Krajewski at the moment, and if you look at the top left-hand corner, you can see he's saving currently 200 to 300 watts in the draft. He's just moved to the front of the race there, and obviously loses the draft, puts his face in the wind for a moment. As we go under the halfway marker there, halfway banner, Krajewski just moving across, finding the draft on Kimber. 370 watts there briefly. Big savings, allowing you to really rest those legs for a moment. And Pike and Grimtana. Krajewski, Van der Pike, everyone in this front group just expanding some energy here into the flat section. Actually feeling that this is the moment when they can up. And Kimber again back in there. And Grimtana really battling to get across again to this front group. As Van der Pike and Marchi just keep pushing on and keep opening up a slight gap. Now they're back together. Grimtana goes on that inside line, shaking across the road, trying to break the drafting for Marchi there. But she's on. Kimber goes. Van der Pike just back here. Krajewski sticking in the wind, sticking in the draft. Krajewski 4.8 watts per kilogram still, and a 180 watt, 200 watt draft saving. And group of 5 back together. Krajewski just allowed to roll off the front there. Excuse me, this in. Seems to have got a frog in my throat. Kimber now on the front as we're coming towards the end of this slight descending section and looking towards the final big climb. And it is a big climb, and it is mostly red, and it's going to be a punishing one for these riders as they've been battling and charging at one another on this descent section. Kimber off in front, only a small gap, 11 meters. Eight kilometers remaining for these riders. Kimber just sneaking away slightly at the front here. Not sure if anybody's really paying too much attention to him, but he's just opened up a small gap. And I think that Kimber is one of the lighter riders on this race tonight. I think this could be a mistake to let Kimber go. Grimtana, Krajowski, Marchi and Van der Pijck all together. We start in now at 3.1% slope. Somewhat erratic these early parts of the slopes, but it does come into a solid red bar. Kimber is up in the lead. Gap of only 27 meters. Krajowski trying to close it down here. Kimber, 291 watts. Krajowski, Van der Pijck, Marchi, Grimtana all together. The gap closing down to the riders behind of Darren Ray and Bussard is only 181 meters now. They haven't started into this climb as yet. 8.8% and changeable. Very hard to pick your tempo, get your right gear here as we're going up and down. Kimber now caught by Krajewski. Gradient 8%. Marchi, Grimtana, Van der Pijck slowly being distanced. Marchi's the closest rider at 36 meters behind. And Grimtana, Van der Pijck 75 meters back. Was speaking to Van der Pijck during the week. Van der Pijck's coming back from injury, carrying 7 kilogram penalty tonight on this, and he'll be feeling every gram of that on this climb as Krajewski pushes on at the front here. .9 watts per kilogram, 4.1. Kimber following. Kimber now being dropped by Krajewski. Krajewski just stretching out that lead. .1%, just about to enter into a plateau. Brief respite, break for the legs, but once again it's a force of change in the tempo. Kimber watching Krajewski gradually creep away, but is managing to keep the same gap to Marchi, 40 meters ish. Grimtana ever so slightly closing the gap. The gap had gone out to around about 75 meters to Grimtana, and they've brought it back in slightly. You can see behind there Grimtana's closing in on Marchi. Seeing some goats there in the background. Anybody racing on the Wednesday night and Mountain Goats series, if you like going up, run by Rob Gill. Always puts on a good event on the Wednesday evenings. Timing's not my best, but I think it's 6 o'clock they start at. And it's always a climb fest, as the name Mountain Goats may have given you a clue on that one, as you're just coming through this plateau section. Kimber not easing up on the power, and it's managed to open that gap back up to 75 meters against Marchi, but Marchi's going to enjoy that brief plateau section as well, as the 25% leg snapper just hits Kimber there. Almost stands him up still, down to 5 kilometers per hour there. Some gears crunching, some chains complaining there. Krajewski's nearing the end of this climb. Yeah, actually Krajewski's only halfway through it. Real painful climb here. .3 minutes of racing, and then you're greeted by this 25% beast. Almost up to a fresh plateau again now. Krajewski is actually managing to creep out slightly more of a lead here as well. He's just ever so slightly edging a meter or two on Kimber. That's really quite hard to tell whether the distance between Kimber and Marchie is changing. It's around about 3 meters. Around about 13 meters. When they get back on the plateau, that could change dramatically. You know, just look at this from the side view. Looks like he's climbing a wall. 24.9%. See it ends at this corner. Everything eases off. Kujawski trying to find the right gear now to keep the pressure on. Grimtana now just managing to creep back past Kimber and the final sections of this climb. Darren Ray just in the distance there, coming into view with Van der Pike. He's managed to pass Van der Pike there. Marchie and Grimtana keeping in their orange bars. Kimber down into the yellow and green there. He's just suffering on this climb, just struggling a little bit. Don't know whether it's lack of energy or whether it's lack of gears, but Kimber's just now fading as we come to the top of the climb, and Marchie and Grimtana are over it together, pushing on. Kimber just slightly fading here. Darren Ray is closing the gap. Kimber over and clear. And at the front of the race we've got Kujawski, who's just entering into another one of these red sections. 4.8 at the moment, it's going up to 6.1 as he enters this red section of the climbing. His heart rate only at 153. This amount of power being applied. 8.6% currently. See how much climbing there is to go. That's where we're going to end up in a moment. Just further back we've got Grimtana and Marchie, the next two riders on the road, and Kimber battling to get back to the wheel. Marchie just swerving across the road there. Marchie's trying to chase down this man, Grimtana. Kimber not giving up. Keeps battling on. 9% at the moment. It's going to drop the gradient slightly. Archie's just shifting across the other side of the road there, trying to cut off a couple of the meters on this corner. Grimtana staying on the outside line. It cost him a few meters, that. To shift across there, but a little bit late for the corner. When you're riding on the river, it's very easy to forget about the steering, about the meters that you can save as Kimber goes past Marchie and Archie just moves across into Kimber's wheel, just gaining 4 watts. Not very much, but it's well worth it as Marchie comes into the corner. Again, just steers across, shaves a few meters off. See how much he saved there as he went past Kimber so quickly. Kimber now in the centre of the road, pushing hard. Krajowski 238 meters clear at the front now. In with Krajowski. Still quite a low heart rate, 159. 184 watts going down on the road. Archie Grimtana battling still. Kimber managing to get back in front of Marchie there. Once again using the steering to just shave a few meters off the length of the course. See how much of a difference it makes as we're going around this corner now. Kimber there taking the centre line, and Marchie just comes round on this inside line. Got less power than Kimber, but still managing to keep with him. Minutes racing, 2.9 kilometers remaining for these two riders. Slightly less for Krajowski on the front. Marchie moves over into the wheel of Kimber and saves those few watts. 6-7 watts. So a hairpin now. Marchie cuts it. And just look at the difference that made. All of a sudden Marchie's gone from being behind Kimber to being 6 meters in front. Again, Kimber having to chew watts to catch up to the wheel of Marchie. And 85 meters of elevation covered so far. Kimber back in front of Marchie. Surprisingly, no drafting benefit for Marchie here. We're at 15.6 kilometers per hour. That's a little too slow for these riders. We'll only be at the crest of the climb in a moment, and once we're over there, there's only a short power climb before it's descending all the way to the finish. So the last 2 kilometers of this race is going to be very, very fast. Krajowski nearing the end of this climb. 7.4% now, just over the top into a steep descent, flying a power climb. And descending almost all the way to the finish line. A little bit of a push now. Rider up to speed in this descent. In the power numbers on these corners. 1,500 meters to the finish line. Power numbers turning red in the top left hand corner. That means that the rider's being auto braked. Any power being put in that point by the rider is being wasted. Basically, it's RGT reduce you to reasonable speeds for attacking these hairpins. Just let you fly through them at max warp. Yeah, as you see, the Flamme Rouge, and looking to be victorious on this race. $50 remaining. Yeah, that gap to the next rider on the road, Marchi, is 750 meters behind. Just about to see the finish line come into sight. Cluster of spectators. That welcomed arch, 75 meters, 50. Krajowski's home in a time of just over 48 minutes. Jump back now, but we may not be able to catch Marchi. And we jump back to Kimber. Annoyingly, at the moment, we can't move rider by rider. We're just having to move to the next two riders at a time, unfortunately. But Kimber been dropped by Marchi. Marchi is in second place, and Marchi's going to finish off camera. Kimber managed to drop Grimtana, or keep away from Grimtana, I should say. Was battling very much with Marchi. Marchi managing to stay away and has opened up a gap of 130 plus meters. Marchi's just about to go over the finish line. Marchi coming in second place. Kimber holding off Grimtana's attack. Comes through in third place in just over 49 minutes. And unfortunately, we're going to miss Grimtana finishing. Grimtana, we can see that, is putting in a sprint at the end of this race. We're back with Darren Ray now, is in fifth position, and Grimtana is just going to be going over the finish line shortly. Grimtana, big sprint for the finish there as Darren Ray's coming through. Kurt Lang 600 meters behind, and just under 450 to go to the finish line. Darren putting the power in now. Still using the steering to cut these corners, shave a few precious meters. Marchi commenting in the chat there, he's dead. And Darren Ray comes over in fifth position, only slightly over 50 minutes there. Missing Kurt Lang, we can see him just in the distance there. With Bussars, Kurt Lang in sixth position. Bussars quite able to reel in Kurt Lang, 250 meters to the line for Kurt. And come over in 6th position. Kurt comes over in 6th, but Sars in 7th position. Eaton and Van der Pijck battling here, 300 meters to go. Van der Pijck, 8th position, just having the better of Eaton at the moment. 75 meters to go, and Van der Pijck kicks again. Eaton not able to respond, and Van der Pijck gets across the line just in front of Eaton there. GA doing so well earlier on. I think possibly GA has not benefited from using steering here, still riding on the center line, and there was a section where he was in the lead group and it looked like he just basically the riders had moved away from him and he couldn't keep in the draft. But he comes through in 10th position. GA. We've got Locke just up the road, can't see him in the screen. We're back with Ayo Bashani, rides under the name Disult, 76 kilo rider, 1.4 kilometers to go. Locke nearly 800 meters in front. He's got about 400 meters to the line. Locke. Locke's going to be coming over the line in 11th position. $200 meters for Disult now. Roll it home. 12th position. Nielsen here. And Benson just behind. Haven't seen Benson in one of the PRT handicap races for a while. Benson closing in on Nielsen here. Flamme Rouge. Closing in Nielsen. Benson takes the lead. Marguerite comes through as well. Just jumping on the wheel of Marguerite. Nielsen now kicks. Nielsen goes with an early sprint. Passes Benson. Will Benson respond? 75 meters to go. And Nielsen takes it all the way to the line. Benson not responding. And Oleg here in 34th position with 910 meters to go. Really flying. Now 170 meters remaining. Goes over the line in just over 57 minutes. Not quite get Gillings there. We can see Gillings just going over the line. 37th position. I think, ladies and gentlemen, that may be it for the real riders in the event tonight. Fantastic as always. Oh, we've got Silvestri. Sorry, we've not had much time with Silvestri on the screen. Silvestri here, 2.48 kilometers remaining. Silvestri just coming up to the top of the main climb. pedestrian into the descent, and one final power climb before cruises all the way to the finish line. Bump in the road. Spins the leg to get to the top. Cadence going up over 100 there. The top sees the Flamme Rouge in the distance. Continues pushing on for the line. 180 meters remaining. Silvestri comes over the line at a time just over the hour. And that's it again, guys, for another PRT handicap race. Will is working on a little series of the races, which we should hopefully have listed soon. And I encourage you to take part. They're a good fun race. And importantly, work on your handicap, guys. Make sure that you're hitting those right weights for the event, because that makes it fun for everyone and evens the playing field for everybody as well. We look forward to seeing you in the next event, and have a great rest of the week and enjoy the weekend. A little bit of sunny weather hitting the UK, so I'm going to get out on the bike myself in the real world. Woo! See you later, guys. Take care.